show is not suitable for children, sensitive men, or insecure women. Can you trust somebody that doesn't take care of their kids?
I don't trust no man on earth that does not take care of their children.
What's the biggest red flag in a relationship?
Low effort and not being honest.
Most of the time, you would think that a bad financial mistake would be spending money on clothes or vacation or like spending money on women. My worst financial mistake was buying a home.
Like a king, give me my crown.
Game time. Game time. Appreciate y'all.
You. What's the deal?
How you feeling, man?
Feel good, man. You know that.
You in the royal mood? I see you.
Yeah. You know how that go, man.
Of course.
It's all good. How you feeling?
Good, man. Gotta everybody check out the Breakfast Club interview.
Thank you.
Looking regal. Troy
it.
looking regal.
Appreciate that, my brother.
Yeah. Shout out to the Breakfast Club fan. I feel good though. Ready to Puerto Rico this weekend. Go see Bad Bunny. Celebrate a little bit.
Benito.
Get some little ideas for stage for Invest Fest, you know.
Benito. Once again, happy birthday, Ian.
Thank you, my brother.
Birthday's on Friday. Put happy birthday in the chat. Yeah, man. Another year around the sun.
God is good. Cannot complain about that. For real.
For sure, man. Happy birthday in advance. Happy belated birthday to my mom. Birthday was yesterday.
Yeah,
and happy birthday to all the Leos out there. Much love.
The most obnoxious celebratory sign. We take it too far sometimes. I will not lie.
The Leos. Do you consider yourself an extrovert?
It depends on who energy it is.
Okay.
If the energy bad, super introvert. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I think you're in the middle. All the Leos I know, they super extra. Like my mom, my niece, they like super extroverts. I wasn't sure if that was a Leo thing or not.
I think so. Just overwhelmed after the last 5 years is maybe adapt the desire to be extroverted. Now I want to be extroverted with people I love or that I like really rock with. So
okay.
Yeah.
I can respect it. Invest Fest, get your tickets. Man, we just been announcing lineup after lineup. VIP night. We got Kev on stage coming. Shout out to Kev. We got the Sensei, Carlos Miller. He gonna do stand-up. First time we ever done stand-up. We got Keisha Cole gonna be singing. Legendary R&B artist. Of course, myself, Ian Dunlap will be there. My brother Kenny Burns will be there. Terrence J will be there. We got a few more surprises. That's just VIP night, by the way. Oh, Friday inside the vendor marketplace. I can't even say everything, but we will have Keith Lee will be in the building on Friday.
What?
Friday. We're going to we're not playing no games, man.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, we starting early. Early. And then, the whole weekend is just 85 South Comedy Show on Thursday night. Like it's going crazy.
The hell of a lineup.
Appreciate that, man.
A 5-day soiree now.
That's a fact. It's like Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras.
For real. For
week.
Everyone who's attending, leave Monday afternoon.
Facts.
The Sunday traffic not gonna be worth it, and all the deals get finalized on Monday morning.
Facts.
Wait a day or two if you can.
Facts. Registration starts Thursday. If you're in Atlanta, get your lanyard on Thursday, August 21st. But programming starts August 22nd. 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday, all day vendor marketplace, all day workshops, BlackRock, Fidelity. Man, it's going crazy. So get your tickets. Go to investfest.com. Get your tickets. Get your booths. And a lucky booth winner will get $25,000 grant from Bevel. So shout out to the good folks at Bevel. Tomorrow we got a dope episode of EYL Curl Fest CEOs at 6 o'clock, and then Saturday, let's say 12 o'clock, we got the Young King Base Swag. We're going to be teaching him about finance. We're teaching him about investing. We're teaching him about stocks. We're teaching him about how to lease a car, the difference between leasing a car and buying a car. Because, these guys are getting a lot of money. And it's sometimes when you're young, you think the money's going to come forever.
And it doesn't. You got to make the money work for you.
That's a fact. That's a
Have to
fact.
make the money work for you.
That's a fact. So shout out to Basewag. Ian, any announcements?
Nope. Mid-roll.
We do have the legend himself, Raekwon, coming on shortly.
Amazing.
But before he comes on, okay, let's get into a few topics. How you feel about Donald Trump saying that he was considering shutting down Nvidia until he found out who Jensen Huang was? Or breaking up, not shutting down, like kind of breaking up.
Interesting, not surprising. How do you not know who the biggest company in the world is, and then you want to break it up though? I think maybe he was just overworked. But I do find it ironic to go in with no research to make that kind of a decision when Nvidia is needed and the American stock market is kind of ironic. And the other lesson in it is Jensen went in and won him over, unlike Tim Cook has done the last 3 years. Mistake. They've had talks even before Trump got back in office, and from what I hear, they weren't the most friendly. The lesson is, regardless of your political leanings, be kind, because you never know when that person may get in power. You got to plan for the next 5 or 10 years. And Jensen did an amazing job, and as a result, they benefited greatly. So I think it's just an interesting lesson in how to approach leadership on both sides. But what do you think?
I think, I believe it's a little bit of unawareness, and then a little bit of maybe some half-witted comedy. You would have to think that Trump would be aware of who Nvidia was even before it's skyrocketed, right? He probably didn't know. I don't think he understood the importance of Nvidia,
the power of it, for sure.
The power, and he just heard like, okay, this company is going crazy. Like, who is and then okay, digging a little bit deeper, he has a lot of friends that have chip companies that are extremely rich.
True.
You can put 2 to 2 together on this.
True.
So maybe he was getting lobbied by some of his extremely rich friends.
I didn't think of it that way.
That have chip companies that already saw the rise of Nvidia and told them, like, look, this is a dangerous situation. They have foreign interest. Maybe they was throwing dirt on their name to try to get him to have some government regulation oversight breakup, because it would have been more beneficial for the other chip manufacturer.
You got that? Any specific intel on that, or?
See what you did there? Allegedly.
Hypothetically, go knock on that door. Hey, break them up. And the dirt that they're throwing probably is true.
Hypothetically.
You got to be so great that the hate don't work.
And that's the key. That's the key. It's too late now. Like,
you got to be so great that the hate does not work.
Or manifest your own product. Focus on your own product instead of trying to derail somebody else. Because you can't do 2 things at one time. You try to derail somebody else, you lose the focus on what you got going on. If you do that, you better stop them. Because if you don't stop them,
it slows down your operation. Well, that's one of the greatest management lessons from Bezos and Steve Jobs, is that if you're competitor focused, you have to wait till your competition does something to react. When you focus on your customer base, you can implement something new every day or something better to make their lives better. So focus on making the lives of your constituents or consumers better every day. It is definitely the blueprint.
Okay. This is a very unfortunate situation. The Dr. Umar thing. Do we need to play the video, or no, we don't have to play the video?
My God. We can play it.
We can play the video?
Yeah.
Okay, let's play the video.
Dr. Umar has access to no money right now because my personal account contains all of my money. I only send it to Apple Pay and PayPal as necessary. So the Prince of Pan-Africanism, for the first time in my life, is without any digital currency. So for my loyal supporters out there, if you can spare a few dollars so I can take care of Queen Mother Ifa Tunde and myself until my bank account is frozen or canceled so I can get my money back and open up a new account, please hit my Apple Pay or hit my PayPal. My personal PayPal account is Umar the Psychologist at yahoo.com. So that's paypal.me/Umar the Psychologist, paypal.me/Umar the Psychologist, paypal.me/UMARTHEPSYCHOLOGIST.
You know, I was always taught to never kick a man when he's down. So this is just unfortunate. I don't.
Isn't it the best time to kick somebody though? It's one of those axioms that sound good, but
stomp them out. But no, I don't. I don't. You know, my thing. I think 19 Keys said it best. I think this is a learning experience, right? Where let me just pull up exactly what he said. 'Cause I don't want to misquote him. But
so many lessons here to learn from the situation.
What's your takeaway?
I mean, if you were hacked by your girlfriend or somebody that you're dealing with, how did they get any information to be able to hack you, for one? Number two, you have to have multiple accounts, business and personal, because at some point something is going to go wrong. Like 2 summers ago, I was locked out of my account for a month. There's been instances with payment processors where they may stop you from accepting payments. Like, you have to have things in place and backup plans in place. Something is going to go wrong at some point. I do feel bad for him. I do think, though, in regards to the school, maybe he should have started an online academy first, then went to brick and mortar. But go ahead. There's so much more I want to say, but I won't, because I like the brother, but come on.
Yeah, this is what Key said. He said, I don't understand why Dr. Umar doesn't just start a business like a digital or online academy and make money, offer classes, mentorship, use WAP school, or build your own platform and have the largest digital homeschool institute for young boys. Why the donation route? And I'll add something else in. He obviously goes viral every time he speaks, and he has a large following. Why not have a podcast media component? That's something that's pretty insightful what he said, because it's like his whole thing has been built on donations, right? Which, okay, that's why though. Like, why?
It was a decent model for when he started. I first came across Umar in 2010. So okay, maybe at the time, but now PayPal, Stripe, Kajabi, Shopify, there's more than enough tools to get an academy. And the crazy part, he could have a worldwide academy.
Yeah, he can. But once again, I mean, I understand from a nonprofit, you know, you have to raise money. Fundraising is one thing, right?
Yep.
Even his fundraising method could have probably been fine-tuned. You could have like dinners, you could have black tie events, you can, you know, how people raise money. Just asking people for money, it's just, I don't know how effective that is from one standpoint. Two, even if it is effective, it's going to run its course, right? Because how many times can you do the same thing over and over again? But from an other standpoint of like, yeah, why doesn't he just have sustainable business models in place where, if not for the school, at least for himself personally, he could support himself? And maybe he does, I don't know. But this would just seem like that would make sense to me. A podcast media, like Dane, he went viral so much. He said, you know what, I'm gonna do my own interviews now. I'm gonna interview myself. Yeah, that's smart, right? Like, you know, so I feel like he could definitely have a hit show. Umar could have a hit show for sure.
Even if he did once a month, be a hit.
Publishing, I don't know if he wrote a book, but he could write a book. He speaks a lot. I don't know if he ever put on his own speaking tour, right? Yeah, as far as the online classes, like you said, as far as teaching young men how to be men and different things of that nature, like, and the good thing with that is you could do it for a relatively low cost. It doesn't a couple of $100. If you get, you know, a lot of people to sign up, then that's a profitable model, right? You can do curriculum that you can send. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a variety of different things that he could actually build based off of his following and based off of his influence. Because no matter how you feel about him, he does have a following
for sure.
And he is influential.
It could be a case of being comfortable for too long. That's the issue with having one goal. Is once you get there or close to it, you need something else to shoot for. I think his voice is too powerful to not have scaled more. And for any business owner, everyone's going to have a rainy season. That's what my dad like, yo, keep an umbrella, keep some money put away just in case. Because at some point, disaster is going to come to your doorstep. But I think maybe his issue is that he's gotten too comfortable in being viral. That's why when I go to the being lit, cultural relevancy, all these like terms they give us that don't mean anything, no equity, no royalty. He may be the biggest speaker in the space, but to see him here is heartbreaking. So like back in the 90s, he was the realest rapper, the dopest lyricist. They didn't sell out. And it's like, well, now no one wants to give them anything. I think a lot of times we get told to live up to these vanity metrics that don't mean anything at all. But I do think he's gotten comfortable in that spot. But shout out to the brother. I wish him well. And it's a lesson for all of us to learn is to not get comfortable in whatever success that we have been able to accumulate.
So if you was to give him some business advice, what would be the first things that you tell him?
At some point, you got to deliver the fucking product. I love you. But it's been, I didn't even have Xander when I heard this idea. I'll put brick by brick. I'll go put some mortar down for you. At some point, you got to deliver the product. That's one. Like, if Apple kept telling me about this thing and it never actually delivered, I'd be like, yo, fuck Apple. That's show me. Show me. People don't love me just because I have the greatest personality. If I didn't deliver those prices and those prices didn't get to a certain point and you made 300, 400% return from it, that would be number one. Every day I will go live from that construction site, letting you know I've seen more of your house in 1 year than I have of that school in 12. Gotta call a spade a spade. I love the brother. I think he's one of the most dynamic, prolific speakers in the history of African Americans in the United States ever. You got to show progress every day, though. Got to. And then from there, online academy. I think he should make the online academy first and just come in the studio and stream from 5 to 7 to teach you lessons. Man, he'll be lit in Ghana and Kenya and Australia and London. We are in a global environment now. So, what about you? And don't come for me, brother, because I like you.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, okay, deliver the product, stuff like that. Yeah, for sure. That'd be helpful. But online business for sure.
That would be helpful. It's crazy.
Start. All right. Start a curriculum. Write a curriculum. Write a curriculum. Right, as far as pick one particular topic. You're obviously well versed in a variety of different things. Maybe pick one topic of, some level of Pan-Africanism that you want to teach, or like the 12 greatest leaders that we don't know about, that we need to learn about.
Yeah.
I would definitely encourage him to do that. I would encourage him to start to book out his own venues and speak and have his own speaking tours where he's actually even selling trips to Africa. He's a citizen of Ghana, so can work with different travel companies on the continent, put together group tours. That's what he should do also. Put together group tours of different countries, travel with Umar, right? And
hit business, bro.
Hit business for sure. I think that would do that. I definitely would start a content series, right?
Because he's naturally good at it.
That's a fact. Yep. Sign with Charlemagne. They got a great relationship. I'm sure he can, I don't know what ads. The ads might be a little difficult. Maybe I'm not sure. But you could make
but
some.
the supplement was speaking. Like even if booking him was easier, it's a lot of loss. Like even for artists, I'm like, gotta go through agency and we gotta go do email exchange. Just allow me to book and pay on your site.
Yeah, for sure. I would have a board game or a card game going through like, okay, this is the history of Frederick Douglass. Gamify history. Man, it's just so much. There's a variety of different things that I think.
Or make an app like the white guy did for tea. All jokes aside, a academy app will be dope.
Facts.
Yeah.
Fact.
So it's a lot that can be done. But always have a backup. You got to keep some money on hand just in case. No matter what. For your business and for your personal.
How you feel about the T app?
I have no feelings about it. For the fellas who are mad at it, I do have two thoughts though. Be so lit that no matter what they say to you about the T app, they still want you. That's one. Number two, if you look at who the founder is and his level of experience, I think it's ironic that he's selling that product to our community while not being a part of our community. Interesting, to say the least. I do think that the first idea of it to let women know if somebody's an abuser, etc. Great idea. But it's morphed into something else altogether. But we talked about it last year. They got them little Facebook groups. Are you dating my man? It's just exploitation and iteration on that idea. So, what do you think about it?
I'm not too well versed on it, but from what I've heard, it was originally created to protect women from like domestic abusers, right? That's what it was. That's what it was intended for. I think that it probably had great intentions, but of course, anything can kind of go off the rails because when you create a platform, what's the oversight? How do you know personal slander? You might just make up. You might be mad at somebody and just make up something, right? Like,
For sure.
So, I think the idea is a good idea.
Idea is brilliant.
Yeah.
What it's morphed into, though, that's the other part about developing the idea. Like you said, if you don't have accurate oversight, and if everyone can post anonymously. But to all the fellas that are mad about it, it's more telling. Like you're kind of giving away that you're doing something wrong. I've seen whole thing pieces. Yo, how dare they? I know somebody working on the Bro Code app, and y'all want revenge of the nerds and all this other shit. It's like, bro, just and sometimes when they talk bad about you, it make them more curious. That's the other part. Like you get some slander, and then they'll be, I didn't see that in him, but let me go find out if he is bad as they say. Just be cool, yo. Don't panic. Unless you out here abusing or finessing, then you got some shit to worry about.
Let's talk about this. As far as have you been keeping up with this story about the Turks and Caicos situation?
Yeah.
So, okay. Apparently, there was an online, I guess, influencer, perhaps, that allegedly, was it Deontay Aiden? I think, flew out to Turks. This is all alleged. Flew out to Turks, and allegedly she didn't want to have sex with him or whatever. And he said, "Okay, no problem." DeAndre Aiden, but found a way home and left her to figure out her transportations back to America.
See, that part I wouldn't have done. That part I wouldn't have done. I would have sent her home. At least. One thought is, okay, for the fellas, just to be the post-puff era, the whatever. Some people were saying, well, maybe he could have found a way to work it out and let her stay. But if they have sex after she stays, that can lead to coercion. Shannon just had to give up whatever he had to pay. So I commend his security team for trying to keep the brother out of trouble. Secondly, it's like You gotta verify that before the trip get booked. Before you hit the FBO.
For him, on him?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
Go ahead. Go on. What? And why are you flying somebody that you haven't had that with before?
Okay, here's how I look at it. Oh,
You
everybody,
look so disappointed.
men and women, have rights over their own personal body.
For sure.
They get no means no, and no matter what the situation is, if somebody changes their mind or somebody doesn't want to do something, like there's no, that's it. That's the end of the conversation.
Yep.
Now, with that being said, I do think that there is certain level of intelligent decisions that you have to make as a person to protect yourself, right?
For sure.
He did the right thing as far as like, maybe not, he didn't do the right thing as far as flying a back. That's to be determined.
Yeah.
But at least he didn't cross boundaries, right?
And didn't try and force the vibe. Yep.
Yeah. Some people will. So what I like, if I was telling a young lady something from my own personal experience, what I've been able to see from different people that I know and been around the world, a few times, I would highly advise you not to go on a trip with a man if you're not in a relationship, if you're not prepared to have a sexual relationship with them. I don't think that that's something that you want to put yourself in, because let's just be honest, we're all adults here, right? If you're going on a trip with a man, right, either you're staying in that man's room,
Yeah,
or you're staying in another room
adjacent
to him, right? Like in a villa, it might be a house, and I'm in this room, you in that room. Alcohol, partying, good times. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Or what do you think the expectation is?
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Unless you have that level, like now you might just be like the homie and be like, yeah, y'all got that relationship. But 9 times out of 10, nobody's paying for your plane ticket. Nobody's paying for your stay in the villa. Nobody's paying for your meals. Nobody's paying for your ground transportation. Nobody's paying for your yacht and doing all of these things just to have you around. You might be around, but there's still in the back level, it's a certain level of expectation that, okay, there's a unwritten, understood communication that happens between adults. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand why somebody would fly to a different country with a person and not think that they're putting themselves in a bad situation if they don't want to have sex.
She thought she called her a simp. You know why? She want to take them pictures. That's the other part, fellas. You have to. My favorite question, right? Before I have on the baby, how many pictures you got in your camera roll? When they get to the 300,000, 400,000, like why? Okay, so as soon as you get to to Grace Bay, she's having a 2-hour photo shoot. Red flag. So, but yeah, I think at least just for decorum, and so his name doesn't end up. I don't know if he's in contract negotiations. These things tend to come out around that time, but at least send it back. You may not have had to have send it back private, but at least send it back. Make sure she gets back in one piece. So,
the gentleman thing to do is to send it back.
For sure.
The gentleman thing to do is not even. You don't even respond to it. Like if that, okay, that's cool.
Okay.
Like, you're still here, but I might not. The relationship might not go further, but I'm not going because now they know you're bothered by pulling an act like that.
Cool.
By pulling an act like that,
you are tight. Yep.
They know that you're tight. They know that you're bothered. That now you look like damn, like they like you showed your hand.
And all you got to do is walk to the little beach, and that's something else. Right? What?
And it depends on how this was played too, because he might have went out there with a starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, you just next man off the bench.
Rotate.
Now, if he went out there on a one-on-one vibe, this might explain why he's tight.
Yeah.
If he went out there, if he flew let's just put this in perspective. Hypothetically, I don't know if this happened. If he flew her one-on-one, private jet, they're staying in the room together. He done spent $50,000 on the villa.
Mistake.
They got the chef on the beach. They got the private yacht tour, and it's just them.
Him.
And then she's like,
he's trying to catch her.
And then she's like, yo, I need to get to know you more. Oh no. He's going to be tight. Because like I said, if you need to get to know me more, tell me you don't feel comfortable going. Right?
Or before you get to.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll monitor the situation. Put in chat what you think. You think Steph Curry is underpaid? That's kind of crazy. Somebody that made $400 million, but it's really not if you look at the valuation
of Golden State.
Golden State. I think Golden State is the most valuable franchise in the NBA right now, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong, Troy. Maybe you can give me the correct information.
If not, the top three.
And I wouldn't say solely responsible. But he's at least 50% responsible for that. He's at least 50% responsible.
I would say 75%.
Well, you got to give KD.
You got that was at the later end. I remember when it was Barron and who else on the team?
They had Baron Davis,
Matt Barnes,
the light skinned guard,
Monte Ellis.
Monte Ellis, he was tough.
He was tough. Just to see what they were then versus what they are now. And stuff changed. He doesn't get enough credit, but like if in 05 I told you there was a guy who had better handles than Iverson and shot better than Reggie Miller, you would have said I was crazy. He's that and more, and raised evaluation, and a good citizen of the NBA, and changed the way the league plays. Yes, he's made a lot, but I'm sure he has to think, what value did I help, and Bron as well, just their run and their competition in those finals, what those were worth.
And they moved, they're worth $9 billion. The Knicks is worth 7.7. They moved from Oakland to San Francisco. They changed the whole culture of the franchise. So he definitely played a major part in that. Yep. But
and then Mark Jackson too.
Mark Jackson.
What did Mark Jackson do to get blackballed like that?
Mark Jackson don't get enough credit. But we'll finish this conversation later. We have our special guest. Let's bring him up if we can. Troy. What's going on, good brother?
What up,
nice guy? It's an honor.
Peace to the brothers. How y'all doing, man?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Good. How you feeling?
I'm chilling. You know, starting the day off right.
Congratulations on your new project and everything else.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Troy, can we do this? I want to stay in this angle, but I want him to see the albums. Can we put us on the other?
See him. Trust me. I'm
all
right. See your toolbox, baby. I see what you got over there.
Before we start, right? So on this row, you see it was written 36 Chambers, Iron Man, Purple Tape, ODB, Liquid Swords. Taking Purple Tape out of it, what's your favorite album out of that line?
Wow, I'm just sitting there like looking at everything. I'm like, these are like children to us, you know what I mean? But it's hard to say, man, because those are different seasons. Those was different times for us. So, it's like sometimes I might listen to Cuban and be like, damn, you know what I mean? That's where I was at 25, but then I listen to the Wild, and then I listen to, Iron Man. So I ain't gonna front. Shit fluctuate for me though, because when we was making them, it was just at that time, that's how we were feeling though, It's hard, man. It's hard. I can't even front and sit here because I could be feeling this way now, and then tomorrow I'm like, yo, hold up. This shit right here is still there too though,
Yeah.
Wow.
Nah, but all right. So we're gonna go through the whole thing. I definitely want to talk about your new project, but I want to ask you as far as 30 years later, right? And Wu-Tang, that W is still iconic, right? Like, what does that feel like to have that? You know, like your career has lasted longer than like people's lives. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's over 30, 35 years, 33 years, right? Like what's that feeling when you go on tour and you still get that same love and appreciation that you did in 1994, 1993?
I feel like a rock star. I ain't gonna front. You know, I feel like one of those, those groups that, that everybody know, the Beatles or Rolling Stones. Like we really those guys in hip hop. And when we be out there and we just see, different fans of all race, ages. I be sometimes just be staring like, wow, like they get it. They respect authentic hip hop. And to see them quoting the words and really involved, it's like it's surreal, my bro. It's like we ain't know this was gonna be like this though, We knew we had potential to be great, but when the people feel like that, and after 30 years, like you said, 30 years, it hit me when we was on the road. Like, I had when we finished the show, I'm talking to the clan and I'm like telling them, like, yo, you see this? You know what I mean? We ain't out here with no big, no big roster of other artists. It's just us, and
You guys, yeah.
we respect, Run the Jewels group, But yeah, man, it was surreal, King. Like I'm talking about every night. So it definitely makes me reflect and say, damn, people really understand our story and they love real hip hop, real shit,
You're one of the illest lyricists of all time. What's one song you wish you could have been on, or a song that you may have slept on that somebody else got and then it came out and you was like, damn, I should have put this out?
It's a lot of songs. I mean, I would have loved to work next to Big, you know what I mean, to do some stuff with him at that time, because we were competing in a great way. Cats made a lot of dope music, Hove, just a lot of dudes I would have loved to work with at that time, but like I said, it was a real sport to us back in the day. So every team was a franchise, so you just had to respect the competition, but also, be willing to, do what you need to do. And, we were in our own box at that time. It was so many of us, and my crew, that's all I really cared about at that time too, just being inspired by the guys that was fueling me, which was my family, So a lot of cats doing a dance though, but Big probably would have been the one that I really would have wanted to really get next to and exchange some lines with though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all had a show in the Prudential Center in Newark, and I was supposed to go, but I couldn't make it. And Lauryn Hill, so one of my friends is great friends with Lauryn Hill, so he gave me insight that I never knew. And I think I'm a hip hop historian, so it was pretty interesting. I think the X Factor, she has that song where she was like, I didn't know from what I heard, y'all song Can It Be So Simple? Right. She actually took that was the inspiration for the loop on X Factor. That's you knew that already?
Nah, I mean, well, when we heard it, we definitely knew that was the sample for sure, though, that she used our joint. But yeah, definitely. I was like, all right, I was like, okay, okay, you doing your thing, Lauren. And at that time, her spitting game up, rah. I'm like, and then for her to freak it and turn it into, the record that she turned it into, it was dope though, That's definitely one of my favorite records off her album too,
And you seem like, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you, Snoop, your inspiration was a lot of R&B, 70s, like that 70s R&B vibe, like Anita Baker type vibe and all that. Like, is that true?
I mean, yeah. I mean, of course, at that time, that music was so, it was so, what's the word I want to say? Timeless. When you listen to a lot of music from back in the days, and it still hit the way it hit when you hear it. It's like it sticks to you, you know. And I think, like I tell people all the time, like no matter how much I love hip hop and I'm a microphone fiend, it's like still I love listening to good quality music. You know, it does something to the soul. It's therapeutic for me. It's like it just brings me back to a time where hip hop wasn't just rap. It was rap, R&B, soul, everything. Because you got to remember, all this was being created based on that music at that time. You know, so we always go back to that, and it just puts you in a feeling. And then, you know, now when it's time to get in the booth and dance on something, it's like I feel good. It's like sparring again, and then getting back in there and handling, you know. But I don't know, it's just that music. I mean, I miss those times. I miss real music, King. So you know what I mean? Real music that touches soul, that give you a chill, and you know those things. So yeah, that music stays very close to me, you know, even to today, you know, definitely.
Are there any new artists that kind of give you that feeling, that goosebump feeling, or do you think with the Spotify, Apple Music, the digitization of music, that feeling is lost forever?
I ain't gonna say it's lost forever. You know what I mean? There's a lot of dope artists out there doing their thing. I wouldn't say it's over. I would just say it's different, very different. You know what I mean? Very different. I don't see a lot of guys being super creative. You know, it just feels like it's
Copy and paste.
It's repetitive.
Yeah.
You know, and it's okay. You know what I mean? If that's who they want to be and they want to create that, but I don't feel a lot of the authenticity the way, you know, that music was so exciting back then. You know, it's cool now. It's cool for whatever people's, you know, preferences, but it's a different time. You know, we're living in a different time.
One of the things that when I listened to the new album, it brought back a nostalgic feeling. Like on the intro, you had the skit from the Chinese movie. So that was always one of my favorite parts on the Wu-Tang album.
Yep.
To the purple tape, and it was like Tony Wong is his name. Like, you know why. So where'd y'all get that from? Like, was you really an avid fan of watching those Chinese movies? Was that like something y'all always doing? Like, how did that come about?
Of course. I mean, you know, sitting there watching karate flicks after school. You know, to me, it was like stepping into they chamber of how they lived and their principles, you know, brotherhood, dealing with disloyalty, you know, revenge. The karate movies was jumping, you know what I mean? And you know them, you know, the 5 Deadly Venoms, Kid with the golden arm, you know, Shaolin versus Wu-Tang. You know, these was like real life flicks though, you know, and you know, when you walk outside, it's like for some reason we all felt like we was still living in those times, you know. I grew up around a lot of OGs that used to karate fight, you know, had Dobermans and shit, and you know, just they was ill like that. But the karate,
the hood black belt,
yeah, you know, you always had one of them walking around in the hood. You know, you see him. He got Chinese slippers on. You looking at him, you know what I mean? But nah, man, it's just, you know, it was just something about those karate movies that, you know, inspired us. It, you know, it made us go outside and talk about it and be like, yo, you seen that? Yo, you seen that kick he did? Yo, he was flying through the air. Yo, the lady, you know what I mean? She threw out stars and all of that. And, you know, to me, it was action. It was action going on inside these karate movies. And we just fell in love with it. You know, a lot of us was just, you know, trying to emulate that even in the hood. You know what I mean? You know, doing kicks and all of this and, you know, just playing as young kids, but still inspired by something that we felt was dope. You know, the voices, even when they were talking and it was like, you know, you knew it wasn't their voice, but they still was freaking it. It was like, you know, after they talk. So all of that, we paid attention to all of that, and it became something that, like I said, it was something that was fun and it affected us, you know, in a great way.
In the 90s, the music business was grimy as described by a lot of artists. What are like 3 or 4 top business lessons you've learned from the music business, and for any new artist that wants to get into business, what do you think they should look out for?
I think number one, what I learned in the business is, you have to be on top of your business. You have to come in and know how to, work with what's going on in the industry, because a lot of times I tell everybody, sometimes you got to sacrifice, you know what I mean? You got to sacrifice. But the main thing that to me was very important was just focusing on your craft and making sure that you could be great at what you do, but also being consistent. I think at the time, we were doing what we were doing, and we were just, when you sit in a group with 9 cats, it's like everybody got to get a shot. So for us, it was like the consistency thing was very important. But like I said, the business, man, knowing how to, secure the right team around you that's going to make sure at the end of the day you out there doing your thing. That was so important, back then, but we were still young. We was uncontrollable to a degree. And I think it's just more about you really sitting down and saying to yourself, this is what I want to do, be on top of your business and constantly recreate the energy that you want, when it's coming at you. We had a lot of fans that was really wanting more and more and more from us, but a part of us was like, yo, we didn't want to saturate too much. You know what I mean? We didn't want to saturate, but I just think today, these kids, keep it consistent, and be creative. You got to keep continuing to be creative and make quality music. And that to me was the most important thing outside of the business.
Let's talk about fashion if we can. To me, that was a major part of the packaging as well for you guys, for you and Ghost specifically. I feel like, the Snow Beach, that was iconic moment in hip hop history. Then the Wallaby Clarks. I never even seen Wallabies before until y'all started, the marble cake and dipping it and doing that and all that.
Yeah,
so
dripping like it's marble cake.
Dripping like it's marble cake. That's a fact. So, all right, let me ask you this. If you had a Mount Rushmore, everybody doing these Mount Rushmores, right? If you had a Mount Rushmore of hip hop fashion icons, who would be on your Mount Rushmore of hip hop fashion icons? And then I got a follow-up question, but I want to hear your answer to that.
That's a great question.
Man, that's a serious one. Fashion. It would definitely be, Slick Rick for sure. Kane, LL.
Yeah.
I said LL, Kane, Rick, Raekwon, the Dapper Dan, to me, Ra was really like, was really, really super inspiring us, throwing the jury on, the Mercedes-Benz piece, the ring, the bracelets, L with the authentic chains. To me, those were the guys that I was really checking for myself, you know what I mean? Even Heavy D, God bless his soul, you know what I mean? Heavy D was a fly big nigga, you know what I mean? I'm a big guy, so, I'm watching his gig game and I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Putting it together. But yeah, I would definitely say cats like that though for sure was really, really making you step your game up.
Heavy D was probably the first fly like big dude.
For sure.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody on Hev, you know what I mean? Hev, Hev was always crunchy. He always had dope fits on. But like I said, the most valuable ones to me, I guess at that time, was Rakim, Kane, and Rick, and L. They always, I don't care if it was bucket hats, I don't care if it was good Dapper Dan, you know what I mean? The way the units was made, the colors, all of that, to me inspired a nation of us to really be able to want to get fly and take it serious, especially, Rick with the jury, a lot of people don't probably remember that Rick is, he's British, so a lot of times he grew up around a lot of West Indians and, the West Indian culture, they love jury. They love wearing chains and rings and gold teeth and all of that. So, you know, at a young age, we was just infatuated by that, and we wanted to emulate that in any way, you know. But that's what started our gear mission. Even Run DMC can't even front on Run DMC neither, you know. So they would definitely sit up there on the Mount Rushmore side as well. Yeah, these dudes was to me like the epitome of getting fresh.
No, that's fine. So, you know, if I could ask a follow up,
Yeah, go ahead.
This business too. So, I see y'all recently did the fashion show with Tommy Hilfiger. So, talk about that relationship, because you know I would say like y'all definitely helped the blow up of Tommy Hilfiger. How did that relationship start, and even like maintaining it throughout the years? Because you know that was 30 years later that you guys did that New York fashion show week. And so yeah, talk about that relationship as far as coming from the streets and then working with, you know, a major fashion brand.
Yeah, you know, I think it was around the time where the Purple Tape was making his debut. You know, it just seemed like back then in the 90s, everybody was really on a creative shit, you know, really being for the culture in a way to where it was like everybody was inspiring everybody. I don't care if it was just, you know, you go to the West Coast, you know, they had their style, you know, the Dickies and everything or whatever the case may be. For us, we was, you know, New Yorkers, we was always into clothes and, you know, colorful stuff too, you know, polo vests and gooses and leather bombers and, you know what I mean, hoodies, whatever it is that we wore. But we always were cats that love to shop. We love shopping, you know what I mean? Because if you look good, you feel good, you know. And at that time when the album that came out, you know, we was already mentioning certain things that inspired us because we was getting money. So it's like, yo, when you getting money, you know it is. First thing I want to do is, yo, when I get off the road or whatever, I'm going shopping. You know, I'm going to buy the stuff that I wasn't able to buy at a bulk that I'm able to get now. So a lot of things were Polo, Gucci, you know, Louis. You know, we've been wearing that back then, you know what I mean? But it was something about Tommy Hilfiger that me and Ghost love. It was almost like it was like the cousin, the big cousin of Polo that was on the rise. So, you know, we would, you know, be rhyming and getting on the mic, and, you know, nothing was never scripted when it came to what we were talking about. We would just mention it. You know, I don't care if we mentioned Helly Hansen or whatever, or whatever the case, whatever it was, it just came off of your dome because you just felt like this is what I represent. This is the type of clothes I wear. You know, and on Tommy Hilfiger, you know, they caught on to us that, you know, they was like, okay, we see y'all mentioning our stuff, and, you know, next thing you know, we started getting calls, and I became mad cool with Tommy's brother, Andy. Andy Hilfiger, good friend of mine, still to this day. He always check on me, yo, what's up, chef? How you doing? But the clothes they were making, to me, you know, the flags, we always loved the flags and you know, the rugbies and all of that. And, you know, going to school, if you had a mean rugby on, you could wear the same jeans times that week. And as long as you had rugbies and certain little things. So, you know, we were cats that was out there and loving to go downtown, go shop. You know, even sometimes we went boosting, you know what I mean, to keep it 100, you know. Yo, if you felt like you could Ike a shirt out of Macy's or whatever, or you like, yo, I think I could pull it, you know what I mean? And then you got cats that's showing you how they get busy with it. It's like, oh shit, yo, he just came out of there with $400 worth of rugbies or whatever. But, you know, for us, definitely gear was a part of our swag and a part of what made us be great when it came to writing rhymes. You know, you had to feel that way. You had to have on garments. And Tommy, they caught on. They, you know, then they was saying, you know, they was gifting us stuff, and, you know, it was like, all right, cool. So now we knew that people recognize us getting our money up and getting right, because remember when we first started, we was still Timberland down and jackets and, you know what I'm saying, all of that type of stuff. But once we started getting money, we had to show this side of us. And, you know, Tommy Hill was definitely one of those brands that had us open. It's like if you ain't see a low shirt, you run right over to Tommy and go see what they got over there, because they was almost like, you know, kind of like the same vibe when it came to certain things. And yeah, always love gear, man. Always love gear, because if you looking like you getting it, it wasn't even about you having to have a lot of money, but you had to still look like money.
Look like money.
Like money. That was important, especially being an artist. So, like I said, when I think about my heroes that was doing what they were doing, it's like, yo, we gotta come in. We gotta, you know what I mean? We gotta come in and represent. Can't come up here looking like we ain't got it, but knowing now that we got something. So
yeah,
that was big for us. So just getting fresh, gotta get super fresh. You gotta be fresh,
As a creative, like Purple Tape only built the wild. Like what's your writing process? How do you come up with? Because some of the stuff that you come up with is incredibly witty, like super poetic. And I know a lot of times it may be hard to describe the process, but how do you come up with, or like what rituals do you have when you get into writing and get into that zone when you're working on a project?
I think for me it's like, because I like to listen to my music loud, number one, but when you around so many cats that is clever at putting words together, and having that team around you that's giving you that support, or even just you hear something from them and you get inspired, it's like our job to really, when the torch get passed to you, you got to know how to hold it. You know what I mean? So, I felt like I was around some dope MCs at that time, and still today, my brothers is still nice with it. So I think it was just the energy that was always around, and RZA was at his best, at that time too, making authentic hip hop that was inspiring us. So I tell people all the time, it's the production, that really excites me. I'm big on production. I was having a conversation the other day with somebody about how important it is to understand what that particular artist does, what he brings to the table. We may look at some of our artists for certain different things. You know what I mean? We may look at him, yo, he's clever, yo, he's a metaphor king, or yo, he does this. But then you might look at this guy and be like, yo, he paint pictures with 4 lines. You know what I mean? He's a storyteller. He talks about, so all of these things are going through my mind as I'm getting ready to approach, making a song or making a record. And it was just those things. I would just get in there and listen to the beat, and the beat always driven me to talk about whatever I talk about. So if it was something that I felt I needed to talk positive on, the beat had to reflect that. It had to make me feel that way. But if I'm hearing something that's hard and it's screwing my face up, and I'm blasting it, because I like to listen to it loud, and I know a lot of artists out there that do listen to their music the same way. You know what I mean? Prime example, Busta Rhymes, good friend of mine, Bust would be blasting the music in your ear, because he wants you to feel it. He wants you to exactly what he felt, so that always been one of my methods as well, just to listen to it loud. But the production drove me. And then it's always that first line be sometimes one of the most hardest things to do, as an artist, as an MC, to be like, how I'm gonna set it off, because I wasn't worried about where I was going to get it at. But I don't know, it's just a weird process though. It's like you sit down and you really, you just be like, yo, what should I say? Like, how, you know what I mean? You don't think too hard on it, but then you sit here and you be like, it has to fit whatever it is. And now you start becoming this, kind of wild genius in your mind. And because now you start talking to yourself like, yo, nah, or yeah, this is the perfect word, or, and that's how it, it plays out after a while. It's just all about what I may feel at that time that makes sense to that line, but the first line was always, I always wanted to get past that. And, sometimes you would get stuck, you would have to walk away. You know what I mean? You have to come back and listen to the beat again. So to me, I could never really describe it all the way. It wasn't like, especially a dude that's coming in like myself, I ain't really have a rhyme book. You know what I mean? I didn't have a rhyme
Oh,
book.
really? Okay.
This is my rhyme book. You know,
You don't write rhymes?
I mean, yeah, I definitely write rhymes. You know
Okay,
what I mean? Nah, I ain't one of those. I ain't super gifted like that. Like I could just sit here and, you know, that's not my special power. But yeah, I mean, you know, I just try to look all the way into what the beat is telling me to aim for. It's like when we made C.R.E.A.M, you know, I didn't never really feel like C.R.E.A.M was like this super big hip hop. I didn't think it was going to be an anthem.
Really?
I didn't think it was going to be an anthem. I knew it was a dope record, but I felt like that. I felt like that beat told me to talk about real life, about where we were at. And see, that's why I said it goes back to, you know, that sound that I'm feeling like, yo, how do you know, this ain't no dancing joint. This ain't no,
Yeah.
I mean, yo, chains is being snatched and this and that. It's not that vibe. It's more like, yo, talk to them, you know. And I remember writing, you know, a story on it. I was writing a story at first, and you know, one of my brothers from the crew was like, I like it, it's cute. You know what I mean? I'll never forget what he said, because you know, I was trying to get opinions. He's like, it's all right. You know, this is before I grew up on the crime side. So he was like, I like it. I was like, yo, you don't like the story? He's like, yeah, yo, the story is dope, but I don't know. I just feel like it's all right. And that bothered me to a degree, because I got 7 yeses, bro. I got 7 yeses, and the other 2 was like, it's all right. And I couldn't live with the other 2 saying it's all right. So I went back and I thought about it. And then that's when I came with, I grew up on the crime side, the New York Times side. Staying alive was no job. You know, I had second hands. It was like, now I'm making this a personal rhyme now.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for all my G's that's out there that could relate to, you know, because there was a lot of times where I felt like the hustlers were trying to figure out, find another way out, but still want to get money. You know what I mean? Still want to get money and trying to find a way out to do something different. And you know, for us, just, you know, coming out of the street, I felt like that was the rhyme that was speaking for all the cats that were on the same page. And next thing you know, it started to reflect everybody's lifestyle, you know what I mean? Especially in the city, you know what I mean? Us being city kids. And that rhyme became, you know, an anthem to everybody because they could relate to. And then, you know, you had Inspector Deck come right behind, and, you know, he added on to what it was as well. And then, you know, Mev coming up with the hook, cash rules everything around me, C.R.E.A.M get the money. Because in our hood, we was calling money C.R.E.A.M. C.R.E.A.M. You know, a lot of people don't know C.R.E.A.M was like, it's like, you know how you look at cartoons and you look at Tom and Jerry and all that, and they be making their sandwiches and their sandwiches be flying in the air. You see the cream and all that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we sitting around funny cats and shit, but C.R.E.A.M became that word of like, yo, I want C.R.E.A.M. This is what I need. This, you know what I mean? And then we just turned it into something special.
Who came up with the acronym? Who came up with the cash rules everything around me? Like,
who came up with the acronym was a good friend from the community. His name is Ray the Ruckus. You know what I mean? He's one of Meth's solids. You know, one of my solids as well, but he hung with Meth more, and he just came up with it. Cash rules everything around me. But I tell people all the time, yeah, he came up with the acronym. But I had a cousin that used to come to my neighborhood and make money, and he was starting to say the word C.R.E.A.M first. You know, like, yo, I just want to get my C.R.E.A.M. Yo, just, you know, C.R.E.A.M. We gonna get you your C.R.E.A.M. We gonna get. But I mean, it was funny though to us though. But it was like the word just, it fit. You know what I mean? Sometimes you could be in a neighborhood and you just have your own neighborhood slang that y'all say that everybody don't know what you're saying, but they know what you're saying, but they not really saying it like that because it's something that became our word. So you know what I mean? Everybody in the hood starts saying C.R.E.A.M. Yo, I'm getting my C.R.E.A.M. Yo, boom, boom, boom. But yeah, Meth Man came up with cash rules everything around me. My man Ray the Ruckus. Shout out Ruckus.
You know, C.R.E.A.M, that right there is iconic within itself because that became a whole mantra,
For
right?
sure.
Even when Big said niggas mad because I know the cash rules, everything around me 2 o'clock. Nah, like
Woo!
any motherfucker whispering about mine.
Yeah.
So I feel like Cream for us, like I told Nas this, like, you know, a few, like for me personally, like it was written, that was something that like really shaped and molded my life, just like the Purple Tape did, just like Mobb Deep's album did. But like Cream, us, like we like finance guys, right? So that motto of like cash rules, that's even on Wall Street, like, you know what I mean? Like they were thinking like cash rules, like, and then Cream, it's crazy because when we started, we kind of flipped it. We was like credit rules everything around me.
That's
But
right.
now it's like crypto rules everything around me, right? So it's like they're but it's
Every
still
iteration.
it's still Cream though, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
I mean, that word, I mean, like I said, you know, that word is historical in our community. You know, everybody was saying cream, you know, and you know, like I said, when we coming up with these words, it's like we incorporating it because it became part of our language, you know. And when we made that record, like I said, we were all in the room together vibing. And like I said, I went back and rewrote my verse and everybody loved it. You know what I mean? They loved the first one, but they was also like, yo, this one right here, like, is perfect. You know what I mean? And then, you know, Deck did his thing, and, you know, 22 long, hard years. We were young still, you know, we was at that age where we was still kids and still trying to figure out if this, you know, this rap thing is going to be, you know, it's going to be conducive for us.
Yeah.
We were just speaking from the heart, man. You know, saying certain words, politic, you know, short for politics, you know what I'm saying, politicking, you know, certain little things, polying, you know, that basically, you know, everybody kind of related to it and they start running with it too, saying the same thing.
rolling like Trump, you get your meat lump.
You get your
Big facts. Oh man.
nah,
Talk to us about Brandon, because Wu-Wear was the first. Was that the first rap group to have a clothing line?
nah, not the first, not the first.
Who was the first rap group?
I think Russell Simmons had Fat Farm rocking.
Okay, yeah.
You know, Fubu was on the scene. You know,
Wu-Wear was big, man. Like even at the concerts, it's a lot of yeah. You guys, I think, mastered merch. You may not get the credit for it, but just globally,
oh yeah, serious.
yeah.
That logo is a Nike swish all over again, you know. But yeah, I guess for us, what inspired us to even want to make clothes is because we were getting so much love from everybody, and especially, you know, people of color, white, black, brown, whatever, Asian, you know, everybody was woo this and woo that. So for us, it was like, yo, we need uniforms, you know. It's like sports now. Now we turned into a franchise at a young age that we didn't realize our power was that important. So it was like, yo, we knew we had to put something on some garments and be able to make our fans feel like they with us, because even when we went to Jones Beach back in the 90s, you know, our first big performances was in this spot in Jones Beach. And I remember us making some shirts and coming to rock the show and giving away a bunch of shirts so people could remember that logo and say, yo, I don't know who these cats is.
That's smart.
This shirt right here is that's what they represent, you know. And yeah, that turned into, yo, you know what? Now we gotta, you know, take the clothing thing serious. And my brother Power, you know, one of the founding members of the Wu-Tang, you know, executive, you know, the next floor that helped us get to where we at, you know, they was already on it. Like, yo, we want to open up a store, you know, a flagship spot, and people could come and see us. And you never know, one of us or two of us might be in the store. So, you know, all we were doing was just trying to, you know, push ourselves out there to get more clout, if that's the case. And we knew that the clothes was a big thing. And next thing you know, when we created our store in Staten Island, it's like, yo, you would see people in there, you know what I mean? That's like, yo, where you from? Yo, I'm from Denmark, Russia. I'm from here. I'm from, I'm from the Netherlands. I'm from
At the
London.
moment, yeah.
I'm from here. So, right then and there, we knew we was on to something. And he's like, yo, look, now we definitely got to take it to the next threshold. And that's what we did, started making all kinds of stuff.
And it's crazy because sometimes you influence people without them even knowing that you influenced them. And like you guys from that W and then the street team, then the stickers, I don't know. I never spoke to them about this, but to me, that feels like Rough Riders. Right, like the way that the Rough Riders came out with the bikes and the double R logo, and then also, and I asked him because this is my brother too, Sam. But y'all the first person to put a store in the hood, like a clothing store in the hood. That sounds like Marathon, right? That's like Nip. That was Nip thing, right? Like to put it right there in Crenshaw. So it's just crazy. Like, but speaking of clothes, the new album. Right, the Emperor's New Clothes. Okay, thought process of making that album, going in, working with Master Pill. Shout out to Nas. Y'all got Griselda. You got Griselda on it. You got Nas on it. Swiss Beats on the production. Justice League. You're already a legend. You can honestly not put out music and just perform your catalog, right? So, what's your thought process of saying, okay, I want to go back into the booth and create a new body of work 3 decades later?
Just really looking at it like, when we had finished doing the Wow album that came out, I think, if I'm not mistaken, probably 6 or 7 years before that, we had made a great body of work. Album The Wow, it was doing good. Everybody was into it. So I knew I left on a good note at that time with, coming with something dope at that time. But I have my moments when I feel like I still feel I have it. And I just felt it was time for a new record, because I was into doing other things, you know what I mean? Just really trying to brand myself in other kind of ways with different things, I just, sometimes I just be feeling like, it's time to drop something. And of course, a lot of times when we making music, some songs don't hit the table like that. So I had maybe, like I say, about 30% of some other stuff that I felt that was good, that, I just tucked it away and said, yo, one day these got to come to light. These, I got to let my people hear these, you know what I mean? So, but me, it was just around the time that I felt, it's time for people to hear you again. You're not washed, you know what I mean? Of course, you still have what it takes, you still have your relevancy. So I just felt like, you know what, let me give something to my fans that I feel is going to be another classic. You know what I mean? I think I think I'm probably on my 5th classic right now. And that's just me keeping it 100 out of my 8 LPs that I made, and I'm going off of what the people are saying. You know what I mean? I know they classics in my eyes, but I need y'all to know to call it that for me. So I'm like on my 5th classic. But I just felt like it was time to do something dope, come with a new sound, and then the title came, The Emperor's New Clothes. I don't know if y'all really know that's a Danish folktale or something that was created in Denmark about a king that was hoodwinked by yes y'all people, and they came in and they sold him something, and at the end of it, he got played, he got chunked by trying not to deal with the reality the way we deal with reality. Like if something ain't real, you gonna know it ain't real. But if you being convinced that it's real, well, in your heart it ain't real, and then next thing you know, you become an advocate to what everybody else may feel, and that's not really what it is. It's like a lesson behind it. So I just felt like that, like in music today, a lot of stuff that we classify hip hop, to me, it ain't inspiring me to feel like it's hip hop. I don't mean like it doesn't play a sideline position in it, but That's not the hip hop that I feel that made us who we are, or represented the culture in the way that we knew it to be. So the Emperor's New Clothes title, it kind of made me think about it. Like, yo, damn, hip hop is like, word, this what we doing today? Like it just felt like it was time to just have some kind of acronym that represents what hip hop really is. You know what I mean? And I just felt like that, like, yo, I just, I would see a lot of my peers, and everybody's looking for some kind of inspiration that sometimes we don't get when we hear the music that we hearing.
Yeah.
But I always look at it like selections, and it's like prime example. It's like dealing with rock music or whatever. It's different tiers of what they may call certain things. You know what I mean? Because it has to be that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got heavy metal, you got punk, you got whatever you got. So they were definitely classifying that. But I think in our situation, we try to make
everything in one pot.
It all gets lumped together.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, hold up with that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if you got a Nike sweatsuit on, you can't wear Adidas with a Nike sweatsuit.
First and foremost.
Let's keep it 1,000. Don't do that. But then you let these cats come in your ear and tell you, nah, you can pull it off. Nah, it's the same color. Nah. And the next thing you know, you outside with a Nike suit on with Adidas on. And you run into cats like us who really take it that serious to be like, yo, hold up. Why you got, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, nah, that ain't how it's supposed to go, baby.
So what do you classify your genre of hip hop?
My genre is the real deal. You know what I'm saying? It's the real deal, Ross. It's like, you know what I mean? I just feel like we make authentic hip hop. You know what I mean? Hip hop that we know that it has a lot to do with being skillful, lyrics, beats, energy.
Yeah, authentic.
You know what I mean? Something that you could really feel like, yo, when I hear it, it puts me somewhere. You know what I mean? A lot of times it's like we hearing certain things that it just, I don't know, it's just different, you know?
On this album, which producer, as soon as they pulled up the beat, you were able to write to the fastest?
I say definitely Incarcerated Scarface was definitely one of those records that we wrote kind of quick. Records like Scarface was definitely, once I came and I heard that beat, it was like, wow, yo, 15 minutes, yo, came and everything. This was in Riz's basement. And it was records like that. Schooled on the Barbie, wrote that pretty quick. When me and Nas and Ghost did Verbal Intercourse, when Nas was the feature on my album, when he came to the studio and he throwing lines around, and me and Ghost looked at him like, yo, that's the one. Through the lights, cameras, in action. That's the one. And next thing you know, it was like seeing us all at a point where it's like, yo, we really trying to keep this hip hop special and keep and preserve it for guys who really love to hear artists really going in. You know what I mean? For us, it was always like, yo, don't play on this. You know what I mean? We got the older heads looking at us. We got the real creators paying attention. You know what I mean? And I think that allowed us to become who we become. And definitely when you see your heroes, and then your heroes look at you and say, yo, man, I'm proud of you, man. You in the book, man. You did your dance. That's all I wanted. That to me was selling 1 billion records. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be respected by those that I really feel paved the way for us. So that's important to me right there, but it was records like that we wrote quick though, that everybody loved. Ice Cream, we did that real quick. It didn't take us a long time to really, get to that record.
Well, Ray, I know you got a lot to do, man. You know, for me, it's kind of hard to have these conversations because I look at it like I waited 30 years to have a conversation. So it's so much questions that I
You want
have
to ask?
just as a fan. Like, you know, for me, I'm just a fan. I tried to get you to perform on my birthday. I had a 40th birthday party at Brooklyn Chop House.
Oh, okay, wow, damn.
Yeah, so Ghostface performed, the Locks performed, and
Damn.
AZ performed. I had Don Poole reach out, but he said he was out of town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's how much of a fan I am of, you know, when the Purple Tape first came out, and then just following the journey ever. Actually, before the Purple Tape, when the Wu-Tang, the first video came out, like back when we didn't even know what Ghostface looked like. He had the visor. Like, you know what I mean? Back then, it was just that's how far I go back with you guys, man. So, you know, it's just great to just see people that really inspired us, our icons, still doing it. Still, you know what I'm saying? Still doing
at a high level too.
At a high level, and then growing, you know, as far as, you know, congratulations. I know you married, you know, stuff like that. Like, you know, it's good to see the progression.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, I appreciate that, fellas, because, you know, we take it for real. You know what I mean? Like I said, you know, when you sitting down and you making music for your, you know, the people that help you, that saved your life, number one. You know what I mean? It's like you always want to give y'all the best. And to me, like I said, it don't matter about sales or none of that. Like, we did it already. Like, we sold millions of records. You know what I mean? But the greatest thing is to show people that we still could do it at a high velocity and still put our heart into it. You know what I mean? So that's the most important thing, because like you said, you know, you watching our evolution and it inspired you some kind of way. That means that that's what the music is supposed to do. It's supposed to enlighten us and enlighten people to be like, yo, this is real quality music. So me getting on stage 30 years later and, you know, seeing the love that we getting and filling arenas up, and I be saying to myself like, damn, yo, the Clan ain't even do a record in over 10, 15 years, and everybody's in here like it's filled to the rim in here on some, and the vibe is there. And you know, to me, that's the greatest feeling, man. And that's why we continue to do what we do, and we love doing it. This is not hard work for me. This is making a sandwich. I tell everybody all the time. We just love it, man. But with this new album, you know, I've been getting a great response from people, my fans and friends and peers, and you know, just like, yo, man, yo, you danced on it, you did what you needed to do, and you know, definitely shout out to everybody that was a part of this project, you know, that made it what it was. But like I said, man, we do this for the love, and you know what I mean. We just gonna continue to keep shining and doing what we do best. You know what I mean. So it's nothing. But look, before we dip out, you know, I just want to let y'all know that, you know, we working on the 30 year anniversary, you know, which is in a couple of days. You know, Cuban Links will be 30 years old.
Wow.
You know, and I've been working on a documentary for this, you know, this particular album that really resonated with a lot of people in the game and all my fans. So we finally at a level where we're about to show you this masterpiece. When I tell you, we're going to probably have to have a discussion again, because the same way we curated how we made it is the same way we talk about how we made it. And it's going to be interesting to y'all, you know, and I got, you know, over 50 influentials that we all love that's in the business, that's involved, that has something to say on what it did for them.
That's incredible.
But this is going to be dope, y'all. You know me, if I'm telling you this, I ain't fronting on you. Y'all going to love it, man. So I appreciate you, Rosh. I appreciate you, E, for what y'all bringing to the table on politics, and, you know, just trying to teach us how to be better with our finances. I salute y'all, brothers. It's an honor to be on y'all show, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
And I'm gonna catch one of your joints again. I missed this one, but I know you have more parties, so don't count us out. We got love for y'all, man. Real love, man.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. Vice versa, man. Thank you again, bro. Appreciate you,
brother.
No question, y'all. Peace.
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 There you have it, ladies and
Icon living.
Raekwon, the chef. Man,
As a creator, I don't think people know how hard it is to be that good for that long. It's tough, bro.
that's a
Like,
fact.
tough.
That's a fact, man. You know, I had at least 20 more questions, man. You know,
For
because
sure.
like, you know, that was dope for me. Sometimes I'm like, I mean, of course, you know, we appreciate all the viewers and we do things that, you know, to please viewers, but sometimes it's selfish. Like this was a selfish thing. Like I just personally
Had to get it. Yep.
had to have a conversation with Raekwon, the chef. Like that purple tape, right? This purple tape right here, like changed everything, man. 1995. I remember when it first came out. Man, like I always say, it came out in the summer. I'll never forget that because I was in camp and all my camp counselors, that's what they was listening to. They was listening to purple tape crazy. And then seeing the videos, seeing criminology, seeing ice cream, seeing incarcerated star faces. Oh man, it's just man, that was a moment in time, man. To me, 1995, 1996, best year. Best years ever in culture.
Well, 94, because Mob came out in 94. Scarface.
Mob came out in 95.
Was it 95?
And yeah, 95. And
95 was a great year then.
95 was a hell of a year. To me, my favorite year is 96.
For sure.
96 was the year. It was
Busta Hove. It was written. All Eyes.
Reasonable Doubt came out. You had for culture, you had Allen Iverson was in Georgetown. That's when he was going crazy in Georgetown. Clockers, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Spike Lee produced that. 96 was just
All Eyes on Me.
It was a vibe. All Eyes on Me. Tupac going crazy. It was a vibe.
Boy.
You know, I hate to be that guy, right? I'd be like, yo, back in my day, I hate to be the back in my day guy. But what a time to be alive. 1996.
Didn't Betha come out in 96?
Who?
Mace. Or was that 97?
No. Mace is like 98, I think.
98, okay.
He's in the late.
Busta came out in 96, right?
We got to get.
I think so.
Troy, can we get a chat GPT?
Because I remember that year, every Sam Goody. My mom was saying every week. Like, yeah, we can't buy no more CDs, yo.
That's a fact. Sam Goody was going
crazy.
Sam Goody, man. Oh, the 90s. Nothing like the 90s, bro. There's nothing like the 90s. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, there's nothing. Oh, Mace came out in 97. Oh, wow. That's not that far removed. He's 1 year later.
Yeah.
That changed the game a whole lot too.
Culturally, even like Wu-Tang created street teams.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Don't get the credit for it.
That Rough Rider movement, I don't like. It might have
been
been
outside with the posters and stickers and all that.
The sticker, that W, and it's like trying to get a title like Wu Killer B. Those they have a mascot, really. The bee, Killer Bee. They had a Killer Bee. Like they might be the first hip hop group with an actual like animal mascot, like a sports team, right? Like that killer. The killer. Okay, for the business people, this is a business lesson.
The branding.
Like, the W is a great. You got to have a logo. You got to have a powerful logo. You also have to have colors. Their colors, black and yellow,
strong.
Black and yellow, right? Animal that is associated with your brand. This is something that all sports teams have. Like they had the Killer Bee. They had a bee that was associated with their brand. Like this wasn't done by accident. Like they had their branding,
masterful branding,
and that's the reason why they're still relevant. 30 years later, they can go on tour.
I heard that Prudential Center was packed too.
Yeah, no. I said it was a movie. Well, yeah, they said that Lauren came. She said, yeah, they she got inspired. The X Factor was like, you could all be so simple, because I was their joint of like, So she was like, she actually got inspired from that, and then that flipped it to that. So, okay,
great times.
What a time.
Yeah, that 94 to 96 run, yo.
Yeah,
Joe Clark.
Even the late 90s, because you got the Bad Boy era when they came in with Mace. And then, you know, some people feel like that kind of ruined hip hop because that was like flashy, $1
It
million.
was needed though. You need duality. Everything can't be rough, rugged, Fushnikins, all the shout to them, all the way through. You need Onyx. Onyx, another legendary brand that don't get
Onyx don't get enough credit.
a credit.
The Baldy,
What they made
they pioneered. Like I seen the clip of Fredro saying that Michael Jordan got a Baldy because of him. I'm not sure if that's true, but I will say that everybody got a Baldy because of Onyx. That's a 100% fact. Like when that year, I don't know what year that was. That might have been 94.
93 and 94, one of them. Yeah.
Everybody had a bald head, and it was because of Onyx. That's a fact.
For sure.
That's a fact.
For sure.
That is a
permeate
fact.
to the Fab Five, and they're like impact.
Did they have the double lineups where you was at in Indiana?
Yeah.
The double line was crazy. The double line was
for them two summers, boy,
double
going crazy.
Double lines was crazy, man. And then of course
we went from that to male birth control.
Male birth control, crazy. Male birth control was crazy.
Different eras.
That's a fact.
You're gonna grow a testicle out your neck. Be careful.
Speaking of that, hard directional term. They say in birth control is a carcinogen.
Yeah. Interesting. All the propaganda of putting girls on birth control early, and I mean, there's even been some studies that when women get off of birth control, who they are attracted to is different than when they're on it. But are we surprised at pharmaceutical companies creating propaganda campaigns and it also being harmful? After COVID, pharma needs to restructure a lot of things that they do and figure out a way to be honest, because the consumers are not going for the bullshit anymore.
I just had conversations with different people throughout the course of the years, women, and they all said like they all had negative side effects from birth control. I don't think I've ever met somebody that didn't have a negative side effect.
No.
From cramps to weight gain. That was a big thing. To mood swings, to acne. Now, I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not going to tell somebody what that is bad or is not bad. I don't know. Obviously, I've never taken birth control before, but I'm just saying, just from my conversations with different women, I have heard a lot of negative
adverse effects.
Yes,
for sure. And one, like the pharma industry, if you look at the harm that it does versus the good, I wonder what that ratio is. This isn't our opinion about it being a class 1 carcinogen, and more people are getting off of it as well.
It's one of those things though, because it is needed, right?
Sure.
Because it's like like how do you family planning? You don't. So it's a difficult thing, right? Because it's like on one hand it's needed on one hand, and then on the other hand, if it's going to have negative side effects to your body, like what I mean, like what do you? And then some people get pregnant while on birth control.
For sure,
that happens too.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
It's a tough situation.
The periods are worse. So many adverse effects. It's tough.
Yeah, for sure.
DeAndre, you got lucky. She didn't want to. You know what I mean? You may have had your little child support issue.
Can you have your tubes tied temporarily?
Men can.
Women can't.
I don't know.
Not well versed in that.
No, not well versed in them conversations. So
men can get their tubes tied.
They get the vasectomy. A man getting his tube tied is crazy, but
neutered.
But yeah, you can get clipped.
Would you do that?
I don't know if one of these deals go through. Maybe.
Have you ever thought about that?
No, but if one of these deals go through, it may be. You know what I mean? No, I haven't thought about it. I know some people that have done it.
I know a lot of people that's done it.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Would you do it?
You know what? One of these things, part of being a man is just having the option. I just want the option. Not saying that I want to. I just want the option too.
You can reverse it.
You can reverse it.
Yeah, I think under 5 years, maybe.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
No disrespect. No disrespect to anybody.
Yeah, I don't want to get eye down up and be like, yeah, they finna clip me up today.
No. No disrespect. No disrespect. They said Troy said women can do it also.
Oh, really? Okay.
They can reverse it. They can reverse it. Maybe that's.
So you want the option to have the child whenever you want to.
Maybe that's the next thing AI can do is come up with, you know,
better birth control.
The best birth control. Perhaps
if Sam Altman have his way, listen.
Sam Altman have his way.
Moderna, Lilly, y'all better get it in order.
That's a fact. We'll talk about it on Market Mondays when they come out with it. Okay.
Won't be that far off. How many birth control pills are distributed worldwide per year?
A lot.
That's a big total addressable market. One with less side effects. Interesting.
Okay. What do we have to talk about? Oh yeah, FBI records show the year that Martin Luther King Jr. died, he was planning a nationwide boycott demanding $20 billion a year for 10 years as reparation. Never heard that one before. I heard that he was starting the poor people's campaign. Everybody, I think, well, not everybody, but a lot of people should know that, right? That was actually, when he was in Memphis, I believe he was about to meet with the union leaders or union, and it was an economic. He pivoted from social justice to economic empowerment, economic justice, economic rights. And we know that obviously, you know, he got assassinated shortly after that. Coincidence? I don't think so. That's the most dangerous thing you can do is really start to disrupt the economic system of things, right?
Sure.
But now they're saying that, you know, apparently,
and back then 20 billion was 20 billion.
Nah, 20 billion is crazy.
What?
So they said that he was prepared to start a campaign for reparations, $20 billion a year for 10 years. It's really interesting.
Yeah, when you start affecting the money, that's when you have to have safety concerns. Same with Robert F. Kennedy when he started having impact on the Federal Reserve. That's certain industries. Yeah, prayers for the brother.
And that's why I always say, if they can't kill you, they'll assassinate your character.
For sure.
One of the two. Unfortunately, you know, they killed him, but
yeah,
it's one of these things, man. Some of these conspiracy theories is real.
Majority of the conspiracy theories are real. Like so much so the government don't even care now. Like, hey, leak it. Aliens,
that's
other dimensions. What y'all gonna do? Nothing.
Can we, before we leave? This is a long clip. Usually we cut clips down, but I think this needs to be played in its entirety because it's actually pretty interesting. Brother's name is Richie Fontaine. Let's play this.
It's this running joke in Black American culture. It's probably in others, I'm not sure. But nonetheless, the idea that if like a giant snake enters your home or your home gets like infested with rats or something like that, that you just be like, fuck it, you can have it. I ain't even about to go back and forth with you. It's your house now. I'm gone. I want to ask Black Americans, why don't we treat America like that? I thought it was interesting because I ran across this tweet after I did like 12 hours of research. Nobody's going to pay me for it. But as you can see, my girl Born Into Soul said, why would Black Americans move to Africa? That's like telling Jamaicans to move out of Jamaica. Black Americans have been living in America for centuries upon centuries. This is our country. Our ancestors' blood is in this land. We are not going to run when things get tough. We're going to stay and fight like we always do. While keeping in mind, yes, I'm aware all Black people aren't from Africa. We've been traced back to the indigenous people of this land. I'm having a different conversation right now. Please don't jump me. I agree with her. I'm originally from Compton, California. I take pride in saying that. I'm as American as anybody else born here, and I know what our ancestors had to go through in order for me to say that. However, but hear me out on first things first. Our ancestors did not choose to be enslaved. Some eccentric Europeans chose that for them. So every drop of blood spilt is a war crime against humanity and not a measure of our perseverance. Secondly, this little thing right here was legal for 246 years. For 246 motherfucking earth years, they legally traded, exploited, enslaved, tortured black people. If this ain't enough fighting, I don't need to see another goddamn fight. And then after the country had to go through a literal fucking war to ask people to stop enslaving other people, they said, all right, bet. We're just gonna do diet slavery for a little while. Then after 12 years of diet slavery, some motherfucker named Jim come along and say, okay, fine, they don't want to be enslaved no more. Let's just oppress them for the next 100 years since they want to cry and shit. So aside from any systematic racism or subjective racism that you can actually prove, there were 346 legally documented years of slavery and or oppression. There were 346 legal motherfucking human years worth of slavery and or oppression. They say, oh, y'all complaining. Y'all been free. That was so long. 59. We've been legally free 59 years. My grandma like 80 fucking 5. Did the math just in case you didn't feel like it. That's 85%. From 1619 to right now, America's shooting 85% from the motherfucking field on us. She can't be stopped. Imagine if you had a government that supported you for 346 years. Shit, 46 years. Liberia, which derives from the word liberty, was founded in 1822 by the American Colonization Society. It is right. Go find it, nigga. At this point in time, there's only about 1.7, 1.8 million black people in America. Unfortunately, only around 230,000 of them were free, so Liberia wasn't even an option for everybody. Of course, with over 1 million people still in bondage, you run the risk of leaving a family member on a plantation in another continent and never seeing them again. These were newly freed black people who had just fought for their right to be free, so all of them didn't love the idea of relinquishing that immediately, as well as a lack of resources. Liberia only became a reality for around 13 to 15,000 families. Joseph Jenkins Roberts, who was the first president of Liberia, was born in 1846 in Norfolk, Virginia. He was on FUBU way before niggas had it in their closet. Joseph Jenkins created FUBU. I know what you're thinking. So what, Rich? All 42 million of us need to migrate to Liberia? Wrong. Some of you niggas are coons. You not coming. Matter of fact, if we even see our country name on your ticket, you getting arrested at the airport. You're not even making it out of America. First thing I thought about was country size. 42 million black Americans, coons aside, that's like 35 million, give or take. Black people don't like traffic and like to get to things quickly. Check. Then I thought about region and weather. Some of y'all don't like to be hot. Some of y'all don't like to be cold. Some of y'all gonna have to learn to shut the fuck up. It's Africa. And I thought about how migrating 35 million people anywhere will probably be an issue, so I wanted to make sure I found the country without a lot of people, and check. And I wanted to go study this country's engagement with Pan-Africanism because I'm aware that some African nations have a disdain towards black Americans, which we have no earthly clue as to fucking why. Coastal positioning on the African continent for a country by the sea? Check. English-speaking nation, democratic government, strong anti-corruption laws? Check. Independent from European rule since 1990, leaders who look to bolster their country with outside investment and opportunity, as well as 979 miles worth of coastline. We could have beach city after beach city after beach city after... Boys ain't know where I was taking us. Had us on the African magic carpet ride. Welcome to Namibia. Namibia, with a little over 2.5 million people, is one of the lowest populated countries on the planet. Let's say if they got 35 million people out of nowhere, they'd become the third most populated country in Africa. Black Americans account for about $1.8 trillion of America's GDP annually. If that buying power was moved over to Namibia, they'd move into the top 20 global GDPs. I know what you're thinking. America way bigger than this, bro. We'd never fit over there. I did the math. Namibia is the 34th largest country on the planet. It is bigger than Pakistan, Pakistan, it is bigger than France and Germany combined. It is twice the size of California, which means if France can house 65 million people and Germany can house 85 million people and Pakistan can house 241 million fucking people, we shouldn't have no issue. Only about 5% of Namibia's actual land is being used. Most of the coastline is untouched. We could build a light rail system from the top to the bottom and actually get paid this time. Black people can build a train system through the fucking country and make some money this time. Bro, you sound crazy. How we gonna go somewhere and build up another country? Brand new cities from the ground up, a countrywide police force that is not incentivized to go after you for the color of your skin, a government that doesn't literally create agencies to stifle the progress of you and your people. We can reform for free college and free healthcare, a credit system that wasn't literally made to fuck black people over. Like when you walk in the bank, they don't say, oh, damn, my bad, nigga, we just ran out of credit. Change from the American diet that they've literally created to kill us. They trying to knock everybody out. They don't give a fuck what color you are. White, black, brown, Puerto Rican, and Haitian. You eat over here, you finna die. Better roads, better schools, better homes. I did the math. 35 million people, about 13.5 million homes. We price these bitches at whatever y'all can afford. Bro, you crazy. Can't nobody afford that. America won't even give us our reparations. First things first, it is time to steal that money. 250 million plus unpaid man hours. It is time to steal those reparations. The fuck we keep asking people who would have kept slavery up for? We're talking to a country who literally paid the slave owners reparations for losing their slaves after losing the Civil War. So they rewarded some fucking losers. We're talking to a country who literally went and picked up some of Hitler's top generals, brought them to America, gave them a nice house in the suburbs, and gave them a job at NASA. I don't see reparations coming. I see reparations being stolen. I don't see them coming, though. If somebody knows how to steal $60 trillion, say that shit now. We can fast track all this. We ain't even got to go with this other plan that I'm about to show you. We're going to petition the United Nations. We're going to tell them, look, man, we've been here for like 400 some years. We just been chilling. We've been getting our bread up, getting our name up, and these boys still tripping on us. We ain't blew nobody up. We ain't robbed nobody land. We ain't enslaved no other people, and they still acting like we the problem. This just ain't gonna work. United Nations gonna hit back like, facts, them boys is tripping, say less. What? How can we help? What y'all need from us? We're gonna tell them simple as this. Get the IMF on the line, get the World Bank on the line, get the EU on the line, get China on the line, get Africa Diaspora on the line, get all them boys on the line, let them know we need 10 T's. Huh? Ain't too much of nothing. Just a couple trills. Just a couple trills. We'll get out y'all. Give us a quick little 10 T's. Give us 50 years to pay it back at the end of the loan. We're going to be a top 10 nation in the world. We've done all this shit we've done here in America under oppression. The government ain't never fucked with us, not one day of its life. Systematic racism so deeply embedded in this country, people believe the Black American experience is supposed to come with strife. Like we're supposed to struggle and have to fight for each and every step of the way. Where the fuck is that in the American Dream pamphlet? I don't see that shit nowhere here on the American Dream. Our own countrymen will vote against their self-interest if they believe it'll harm us. They were literally online last month fighting for their right to say the N-word. I call Nvidia in the morning. I don't know what time they get up, but matter of fact, so I get my other phone. I'm calling it tonight. You know, I'm calling them. I think the only thing that sounds crazier than mass migrating 30 plus million Black Americans out of America is enslaving and oppressing them for 400 fucking years. I think that's the only thing that's up there. That's what most of the beaches look like too. I ain't gonna say nothing else. They're just desert on the ocean. You know, we love Miami though.
Shout out to that brother.
That's what you find. I like his content.
Extremely insightful breakdown. Extremely insightful breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
On so many different levels, very well thought out. Man, that was excellent. That was
what are your initial thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's excellent. It makes a lot of sense. He articulated everything
well. Was entertaining in the articulation.
That's content. That's how you make content.
What do you think people's biggest fear is in relocating? Because I know you guys get it about Ghana. I get it all the time about Mexico. Like, why do you think people are afraid, even if quality of life will be better in other places?
Familiarity, right? Like you have your family here.
Yeah,
You know the system. You know the political system. You know the grocery store that you go to. You know the restaurants. You know it's average person is not just trying to just pack up and leave and never look back. Right? Like that's something that takes a lot to go to somewhere else that you've never been before and kind of figure it out and meet new friends. And that's why I have a lot of respect for like people that are like refugees. So even
for
people
sure.
that are immigrants, like
The immigrant, it's tough.
yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to do that. But man, he makes a lot of great points. What do you think about his commentary?
Brilliant. I think he articulated that conversation incredibly well. It was entertaining while he did it, but very succinct and to the point, and it's hard to argue with anything he was saying logically. You may emotionally feel a way about it, but logically, I think he makes all the sense in the world. And I think just as maybe a guide, I think visit first, then maybe take a second track, build a relationship there. But I'm starting to see more people being open to the idea, just in cost of living. Like I just analyzing coming back from Mexico for a few days versus what the spend is here. It's 3x higher. 3x higher. Like it's insane. Like just inflation via country is insane. But even in Ghana, you can get a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom house for roughly how much? Let's say 3-bedroom.
Yeah. 300 probably.
At some point, I think everyone has to consider, and back to the Umar point, not if you don't use it, great, but what is the alternative just in case?
No, that's a fact. And it's one of these things too where we're not getting reparations. Let's just be honest. I hate
gonna kill you. Hold on. I fell on that sword on Mad Show, so you don't have to listen. We didn't have enough of little criticism. So the FBA community gonna be upset.
Okay.
So Ian said it.
We're gonna get reparations. Just wait. Just be patient. You honestly think that, like he made a good point. These people, like the country was built on doing everything they possibly can to destroy us, and we don't have a majority as far as numbers in America. So how are we going to get reparations?
And the money isn't there, given how much debt we're in.
It's not going to happen.
Like
so,
financially, we're on a house of cards right now.
Man, he makes. I'll just say this: he made a lot of great points.
For sure.
Do with that what you want.
Yep.
Because like you said, I mean, I know there's a lot of people that's like, whatever. I get it, but we're not getting reparations. It's not happening. It's not gonna happen. Respectfully.
All the respect in the world.
Super respectfully.
Yeah, super respect. But while you're in the world giving respect, maybe fine.
But you know what? I don't even gotta listen to what he said. Everything, sometimes in life, you don't even have to talk.
Yep.
What he said, everything that he said, I agree with.
1,000%.
So the explanation of how I feel is listen to what he said. Everything.
Or ChatGPT it. Transcribe
it. Everything that he said.
Talk less.
He articulated it better than I can.
Yeah. And it's a great lesson in talking less. Sometimes everything don't need a response.
That's a fact.
You win. You're right.
That's a fact. Yeah.
I said, boy, if this is the terrain in the States as soon as I get back, I only came back to drop off Xander and go to InvestFest. After that,
that's a fact.
Sorry.
All right, my brother.
Sorry.
It's been real.
Shout out to Raekwon.
Shout out to Raekwon. Shout out to Mass Appeal. Thank you guys for putting that together. That was dope. Obviously we big fans of hip hop, so he's a legend in the game, and somebody that's just a very good person as well. So, it's the little things, right? It's like you make it a point to use person's name, right? It's one thing to use a person's name, but then he actually created a nickname. I don't know if you noticed that, but he was like, "Yo, E, Rob." That's a personable thing. It's like writing somebody a note, right, of a thank you. Like I could just chat GBT something and print it out, or if you have a little, like you go to a nice 5-star hotel and they'll write, a couple of words, thank you for your stay, da-da-da. We got a fruit basket for you. The little things in life
matter.
They go a long way.
And he was gracious with his time too. Normally, when some of these interviews happen, they'd be like, gracious."
Yeah, for sure, man. So shout out to Raekwon, man. I definitely gotta have him perform at something, just because.
Just because.
But yeah, I was trying to get him for the birthday. That would have been crazy. I wanted him in Ghost. That would have been crazy.
Locks and AZ, another underrated.
That's a fact.
Underappreciated.
You know what AZ mastered? The art of not speaking.
For sure.
Because
staying out the way. He's gonna bar you up on them songs and go about it. I saw him perform one time in Chicago House of Blues. Same thing. Did his thing. Took hands. Gone.
The older I get, the more I value silence.
For sure. And super punctuality. So Nick Cannon did the walkthrough. That boy had the timer 59 minutes, 30 seconds. Out the door. Less is more.
Less is more.
Yep. Being quiet.
Ian, man, happy birthday in advance again.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Enjoy the
happy belated to your mom.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoy the Bad Bunny residency.
It's gonna be a good time.
And PR.
Who had a great run, yo? I bought the ODB album with the ODB and Mariah.
And it's the RZA got to get credit for all of these guys had individual deals from a business standpoint on different record labels. Yeah. So the Wu was signed, so I think they were signed to Priority, but then everybody had, so like Method Man was on Def Jam, right? And then Raekwon was on Loud, and then so they each had individual deals on different labels. But yeah, I mean, and they all had their own flow from Inspector Deck to ODB to Ghostface to Raekwon to Method Man. A question that I didn't get to ask him is that, they all had their own silos too. Like at one point, Method Man and Redman became so close that they formed a group, right?
Yeah.
He was hanging out with the Queensbridge guys a lot. Like obviously Raekwon and Ghostface had their own separate group inside of Wu-Tang. But then they started doing, like, one of the most iconic freestyles is that Yo MTV Raps with Mobb Deep. It's actually it's Prodigy. I don't know if Havoc was part of it, but it was definitely
Prodigy. Yeah,
it was Prodigy, Ghostface, Raekwon, and Nas.
That's a hell of a lineup, yo.
Like I wanted to ask them if they ever thought about doing an album back in the days where imagine that. Like imagine
that would have been insane.
Prodigy
another hit, super slept on.
Prodigy at one point in time,
94, numero uno.
I would say 95 to 96. There was not a better rapper. There was not a better rapper on planet Earth than Prodigy.
Unique style, unique flow. He was on the Illuminati, so all that early too.
No better rapper. And even I heard
Tupac with that.
If Bleak was like, yo, and it was so quick because Prodigy had a legendary career, but he never even really got back to that. Like, because some people say H&IC, like, nah, y'all just knew y'all new fans. Yeah. When he was on the Infamous, the way he was rapping on the Infamous, was nobody had ever really got into that zone. Like that bag that he was in, Prodigy took it. Like, yo, Prodigy
took it to another level.
Yo,
that was 7th grade
Prodigy was a Billy Goat. Like he was. I was just listening
out the gate,
and I was just like, yo, how you this good? Like, how are you this good?
At the age, yep.
Yo, Prodigy, yeah, he was young too, like 20 years old. Man,
smoking.
Rest in peace to Prodigy, man. Yeah, another one that shaped my early life. Yeah. I used to listen to Mobb Deep so much, man. I thought Mobb Deep was like it. Like I almost fought somebody over Prodigy.
At that time, like I can't name a better group. at the time because I got the
Wow.
Diary album and that Mobb Deep album, Sam Goody.
Then
Well,
the album after Infamous, Hell on Earth.
Fire.
That was fire. No, they had a hell of a run.
Mhm.
Shout out to
The
Havoc.
one with G Unit wasn't that bad.
No. Yeah, no. Like
That
I said,
album was solid.
and HNIC, that's one of the hardest tracks. Also, is the I break bread, ribs, $100 bills, mail or Picardis and other 4 wheels. Write a book full of medicine and generate milk. To this day, I still use that line of only sign deals if the math is real. That's it. Like that's my mantra. Only sign deals if the math is real. Man, keep it thorough. Shout out to Alchemist. Alchemist don't get enough credit either. He's a hell of a producer.
No. Shout out to Freddie Gibbs. Amazing project.
Freddie Gibbs. I gotta listen.
Alfredo 2.
I gotta listen to it. What's it called?
Alfredo 2.
Oh, it just came out?
Yeah, a couple days ago.
They was telling us about Alfredo 1.
Tough.
Yeah, I gotta listen to that. I'm gonna tap into Freddie Gibbs. But yeah, we should probably do this at least once a month. Have like a hip hop, like a legendary hip hop moment.
That'd be dope.
Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, who I want to see this interview.
Once every other month, but we gotta have like Redman come on, shit like that. Like just cause.
And that Rough Rider movement, we gotta document that though. That Rough Rider movement,
that's bad.
I think they underrated for what they did in the time span.
DMX, man, that's who I would have loved to have on Blackout. DMX, man, DMX icon, man. DMX icon.
They're gonna keep it real.
Facts.
Yeah.
Super real. All right. This was fun. This was fun.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, my brother. Anything else we need to cover?
Nope. Save for next week. I'm staying in peace and harmony. That's my new reply for everything. Peace and harmony. You right. You got it.
Fact.
We're going right back to the ocean.
That's a fact. You right. That's a fact. You right. You right.
Whatever you say. You are right.
Right. Hashtag you right.
Facts.
You right. You right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Invest Fest, get your tickets. Tune in to EYL tomorrow and then back on Saturday. It's been real. Stay safe out there. Go to ianinvest.com to join the stock club. And yeah, it's been real.